Welcome everyone to another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. I am Steve G, and what we have this time is the Masakage Yuki Nakiri 165mm knife. So quick story, the very first knife I bought from Mark and Sue at Chef Knives to Go was a Masakage Yuki Gyuto 210mm. Kind of regret selling that one. I've gone through, quite a bit of knife acquisitions and reselling, and just kind of trying things out and reselling and so on to kind of still do that a little bit here and there. But great knife. So I've had a real affinity for this line ever since then. They've been around quite a while with this line, and they're still great. They still do what they do really well. They look good. They perform good. The knife craftsmanship's nice. Fit and finish is very good. I'm going to flip it over just because the laser engraved kanji is on this left side of the blade on these. But so this line of knives is 3-layer construction. So what they've got is shitogami or white paper number 2, reactive high carbon steel in the core. You can see that right there peeking out from the cladding. And then the cladding is stainless over the top of that. So it makes it a bit easier to maintain. The only exposed reactive steel is at the edge there. The cladding does cover the top of the spine as well. So a bit easier maintenance. This cladding has a very kind of smooth, what's known as pear skin or nishiji finish to it. It's not a deeply textured nishiji, but it's a real nice looking blade. Weight and dimensions can vary a little bit from knife to knife. This particular one is 166 grams or 5.9 ounces. Heat treat on that shitogami number 2 is usually in the 61-62 Rockwell range. If you don't know, shitogami is one of the easiest steels to sharpen that you'll ever find. So it's super easy to sharpen and get a screaming sharp edge if you do your part. It's a great steel to give you confidence because it just wants to get sharp and you don't fight it like you do some other steels. So it's just a great steel. The edge retention is not absolutely fabulous, but it's so darn easy to touch up and sharpen that you really won't care. It gives you practice. So handle is something they've done a long time on these, is the oval, what's known as magnolia or hoe wood, with a red dyed packawood ferrule on it, oval shaped. Nice fit and finish on these, pretty classic handle they use. As usual, nice glue up job or seal job where the tang goes into the handle. You can see the tang's pretty thick on these. In terms of size, I'm just going to flip this here. This is my usual orientation. Edge length, usable edge length with the curved tip there is about 160 millimeters, maybe 161, about 6.3 inches, and the overall length's about 315 millimeters or 12.4 inches. Spine, I got about 3.1 right above the back of the heel, which does have a little back sweep to it. And then I got about 2.0, 2.1, 2.0 in the middle, halfway down, and then it pretty much keeps like about 2.0, maybe goes down to about 1.9 at the very tip or top of the edge here on the top of the blade. But plenty of stiffness on here. Thick or height-wise, it's pretty tall, but almost 59 millimeters tall at the back, and then I got 59 and a half halfway down. So fairly consistent height, but almost 60 millimeters, so it's plenty tall for, especially if you like to scoop things up. You got a lot of height there for that. Some square inches of blade there, square centimeters. Let's do our beauty shot. We'll go this direction since we have that kanji on there. So this is a pretty good, just showing you, you've got laser engraved kanji on the left side of the blade as you're using it and holding it. You've got that nishiji pear skin finish on it, and then you've got the grind, and down towards, here's your cladding, and then here's your core steel. So it's a nice line there between the two. Very pretty blade. Understated, but really elegant at the same time. Nice, really good fit and finish on these. They polish the spine a fair amount. You can see that. And they round the corners a little bit. And they also take some, they don't polish it a lot, but they take some attention on the choil and the curve here. And they round those corners nicely. So very comfortable blade. This was really sharp out of the box. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 on my scale. I don't do that very often, but it's got some polish to that edge bevel. It's super sharp right out of the box. Just, as usual, great smithing and finish work by this maker. And it's a really nice blade. So here is our look on the cutting board. It's actually trying to stick into the board. It's so sharp. But, so, fairly flat, as you can see, which most Nakiri knives are, but it goes in a pretty nice stop at the heel. And I've got a pretty good flat back half of that blade, so this will chop great at the back half. It's a nice float, boom, right into that stop. And then with that rounded tip, I can pretty much go as high as I want on a rock. It doesn't have much belly to it, but you can still rock these no problem at all. I like how these ring. This one, the steel rings. Kind of hear that there. Need our camera to do its thing here. There we go. All right. So that's a pretty versatile profile for a Nakiri. It's got the rounded tip, so you can rock it really if you want to. It's got a great back half of flat spot for chopping, which a lot of people love to do with this style of blade. So just a really nice package. You can tell I like these, but a little tied to them being my first entry into the Japanese knife world from Chef Knives to Go. So this is the Masakage Yuki Nakiri 165mm knife from Chef Knives to Go.